I'll jump in next week for last week's game. You're all making your way towards the west, traveling as you do, with a couple weeks now underneath your feet at the most, before you made it to a zone that gave you a choice of one of 3 paths that you could take. The team could either go through calm, clear, relaxed, quiet meadows, but a very, very long trip that would add considerable time to their journey. A comparable trip to the normal route would take them instead through the woods. Dark, dense, and heavy. But as they were warned by the caravan they were traveling with, no one's ever survived a trip to the meadows, so it seemed like the only option to them that would make sense. The third remaining option took them across the original road that once traversed these lands, but due to volcanic action, probably not the most logical path to go through. Fire, brimstone, lava. The team thought the meadow was too good of a good thing, so they decided to go through the woods. And as the trees huddled in around them, as the light was choked away as night crept in, they soon found overhead a nest of webs and a pile of spiders looking to balance things out against them. The team managed to survive this fight against the spiders, creating a large gap between themselves and the creatures. They also came to realize that fire helped keep those that remained at bay. They didn't dare come near the caravan, keeping a bit of a distance out. Which leads us through the event as the team continues through this dark, twisted night. I'm pushing the clock forward till about 11:30 or so. Late in the evening. The caravan itself setting up its own little camp with a watch. Thankfully, they're not so undefended. You all act like the head of a spear, with your capacity to do some serious damage. However, this also means you have a little bit of freedom in where you can go and how I display these things on smaller, cramped maps. The team also knows once they get out of this forest, there's a logging town that stands between them and the very large wasteland. Once they clear that wasteland, they'll make it to Blackrock. In order to find some more answers and maybe some hints as to what they can do for this poor world. But as of now, well, they gotta get through this forest and make it to the next town, pick up some provisions, where it's been noted you'll probably spend a couple days at least waiting at this next zone. Strictly because that's the way things work. After all, an army marches on its stomach and yours is quite hungry. So, late at night, still after just surviving that assault from the spiders, the team would be seated at this point, prepping camp as I switch the map over. And as mentioned, Dean, for your new PC, you got fog and clouds and flowery effects. Though, Jillian, if this does give you any trouble there, let me know. We'll kick them off as usual. But it's a smaller map, so the effects shouldn't be too bad. Though I do have some light pulsing, some shadow effects, you know, the usual good stuff so you can play around with it.
Looks pretty smooth.
So would I have had time to heal everyone up?
As of right now, you're just starting your rest.
Alright.
Pretty much essentially minutes between your last major venture and this one.
Okay. In that case, we're going to... I need to get my focal point back, so I need to spend 10 minutes doing that.
3.
In the meantime, Deacon's gonna try and patch up Phoenix there, doing a medicine check to at least get some of his hit points back.
And just as you're all sitting down, starting to get rested, anyone else planning on doing any quick things? That was very close at a 13.
I don't think I've got anything to do. I could, yeah. I'm not trained in medicine, so I can't help. I shall be but a detriment.
You'll be moral support. You can do it. You can do it.
If someone needs me to put pressure on something, I'm your man.
You're a failure. You have
With moral support, do I get any circumstance bonuses?
Well, there's too many ways to gain bonuses in Pathfinder for me to be kind. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fair.
Because I was close with a 13, but
At least you didn't botch the job.
Yeah.
Then let's see if I kill myself.
now keep in mind, it takes 10 minutes to treat a living injured creature. Targeting yourself if you so choose, but after you've been targeted for it, you are then temporarily immune to the treat wounds action for the next hour. Mind you, it's an overlap time, so it's once per hour, not once per 70 minutes, but you only get the one shot to treat wounds using medicine. And if you pass on that, you get an increase to the health that they gain and things like that, of course, but...
Sorry, Dad.
Do my 10 minutes go by?
Well, that took 10 minutes there, so yeah, by all means.
Alright, cool. Alright, so Dan. Heal 6, I think it is. I wonder if I do... Oh, I'm targeting the wrong person now. Do this, and...
Oh, yeah, I think there's a feat or something you can take that.
I didn't automatically heal you.
Reduces that hour.
But yeah, after that, I will spend 10 more minutes recovering my point.
Well, that's 6 points of healing to Phoenix in the first 10 minutes that the team's taken. As of yet, you won't have the opportunity for a second.
I was a little worried of that.
So if anybody else was having anything they were doing during their quick 10 minutes of downtime, as you're starting to prep yourselves a camp and get ready, by all means, you've still got that 10 minutes, which is, at this point, for 3 of you.
I
Jillian.
probably could. I'm just dealing with Fergus right now. He's a bit restless, so I'm just making up a treat thing for him. But I will try to roll a medicine check, maybe on myself.
Sure, by all means. Generic check of
Or
DC 15.
do you think? Well, do you guys think I should do it for me, or do you think I should do it more for Dan because Dan's a lot lower than I am?
Can't do it for Dan.
Dan.
Gonna be immune.
Is that? Oh, I can't do Dan. Oh, I see. You know, leave it.
You only
Sorry, just
get
give
one
me-
shot.
Okay. Give me two minutes.
At least I helped, Dan. Gets you a little bit better, right?
And Dean, was there anything for your turn?
I think the vaccine's too dumb to have anything useful to do. He's he's charismatic, but that's about it. Yeah, I don't think I've got any activities. I guess I could, like, I don't know, keep a lookout or something. Probably a bit nervous about the spiders. I'll just be looking up. But yeah, nothing for me. I don't have any crafting or
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Do this thing every once in a while for Fergus where we like wrap up treats in like an old towel. So I was just in the middle of doing that when you. I was thinking about rolling a medicine check. Okay, let's see. This is for myself. Okay.
Oh, just.
Just barely. So I get a D8. Is that what it is?
Double.
Is it
I
not
think it's
2d8?
2d8. Yep, 2d8 for that one.
Oh, sweet.
It goes up if your rank is higher. If you're if you're a master, you get plus, or expert, you get plus 10. Masters get plus 30, and legendaries get plus 50. So it just goes up the higher you go for that one. And if you roll a crit on it, it just doubles the dice, which is nice.
All right.
Yeah.
9 points though, 9 points. You get that health back. Gives your character a bit
You
of a
did that
regeneration.
for me. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, they've given me all the button clicks as big giant buttons on this one. I don't even have to right click or nothing. Makes my life a little easier, which is handy.
Okay. I mean, I think that's all I can do because I'll spend the 10 minutes doing that to myself. So.
And as you're all taking care of yourselves, though Dan, you still technically have 10 minutes if Phoenix was going to be doing anything.
I don't know if there's anything I can do.
So your character takes out their pipe, sits back with a drink, just chills for a minute. Which, after the last fight where things went sideways so quick, isn't a bad decision by any means.
Fergus got his treat already, just in case anybody was invested in that.
Very nice.
It is very important to know. Yes, thank you.
Is there anything you could repair? I think repairing something takes 10 minutes. Or you could try medicine on Deacon.
So long as you've got a repair kit. Yep, you can take your time to try.
We do have that broken shield.
DC to repair any given item is generally around its same DC as to craft it in the first place, so...
Oh, because there's the repair kit that we found, and my character has a repair kit, even though he can't use it. He just collects stuff.
We have the superior one, or whatever that gives the +1 bonus.
Yep.
Fortunately, I will say, repairing is an untrained action. You can make a shot to repair something without any training in the ability or skill, but you don't get any bonuses. Or your character can stand guard and watch.
Yeah. I've got a +0 to crafting. I'm maybe better off watching. I'm proficient in my eyes.
So what is the DC to craft a shield?
Let me pull that one up, because I definitely don't know them off the top of my head. Let's still here. I'm guessing at least an 18. Maybe higher. Let's see. Sturdy shield, minor. What is that, level 4 item? This is the only part where Pathfinder can tend to bog down a little, is the level of items and things like that. Just say
Here we are.
4 plus. So you're looking at probably a 19 to repair that one.
You've got a regular shield as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Looks like it's DC 19. I'll send you this link I found, Alan. It's Pathfinder 2 Easy Tree. It has the repair DCs for the items on it. I don't know what the rest of the site does.
That's the thing. I've got that right here. Goes from level 0 to 25, going from 14 to 50 is your standard DC, right? Then spell levels have their own from 15 to 39, from 1st to 10th. That I had. I was peeking at everything for that other shield. It's like, oh, look at a wooden shield. Oh, look at a metal shield. And then everyone online suddenly arguing, and there's 50 different discourse posts on, it should be cheaper. And I'm like, you know what? It's level 4. That's a DC 19. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. No, this site looks kind of cool. I don't know if you would want a look at it.
By all means, feel free to send it through. I'll be honest, most of the time, most of my stuff pulls from the archives of Nethys. They're such a good compendium. Even when I Google, they're one of the first to come up. So it's taking a minute to get used to their layout, though. It's just different from what I've been used to, but it's still all there. So, but yeah, definitely share any of that you've got. I can definitely give that a browse still, because any materials is great materials. Like, one thing I keep open at all points in time, I've got a printout of the skills page. It's just always open.
Alan,
Yo.
When we got this shield, you told us it was broken. You didn't say what its HP was at. So are we just saying it's at the 32, where that's the broken threshold?
I think I dropped it down to the bare minimum without breaking, was the note for that one. Let me just see here.
Yep.
Because if it's broken, then its hit points is equal to or less than its broken threshold. Let's see here.
Half HP, I think.
Yeah, it's max is 64. Its broken threshold is 32. I thought you said it was broken, but I could be wrong.
Oh, definitely broken. Because it won't function, nor does it grant bonuses or anything like that.
That's what I thought. So.
Because that one was quite broken. Because, you just picked it up on the random. And the broken threshold on there for the details, 864, 32, 4, price 100 gold, hardness 8. Yeah, no, it's just broken, so it's sitting at 32.
Okay.
I guess, if you think about it fantasy-wise, like, if you find a broken shield, that means that whoever killed the person that was using the shield means they were able to put up a decent enough fight, so your chances are pretty good. But if you find an intact shield, well, either they didn't use it, or they didn't stand a chance. I just don't know why. It's just one of those shower thoughts that came right into my head there.
I'll let you pick which shield you want repaired.
I would rather the sturdy shield.
So DC 19 is the thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, John, thank Alan, because he gave us the +1 to crafting. So that puts me at a 9, and if I roll a 1, it's 10, so I cannot critically fail this unless I roll a 1.
Okay. Let's hope we don't roll a 1.
I have one fear.
What's that?
No, that's just the one.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, but the meme went in my head. No fear.
Yeah.
One fear.
Oh, goodness. Well, unfortunately, 15 is not enough to repair the shield.
But you don't harm it further.
And while you're healing, repairing, fixing, and sitting, Dean, why don't you go ahead and give me that perception check while your character's looking around? Maybe still a little paranoid thanks to all the spiders or what may have.
Yeah, just fearfully clutching a torch so you can throw it at something. Okay, perception.
With a 24. While your character maybe has their back turned to the rest of the group looking at this cliff for some reason or another, your eyes would drift up towards the tree line for a brief moment. And as you do, one thing can't help but stand out to your character as you find yourself looking up, almost face to face with the rather brutal looking face of an orc glaring down at you. And they are most assuredly not alone. A quick glance along the tree lines and you will see you are being surrounded at this point in time. They had snuck up quite close on the group, using the darkness and the cover of the trees to their advantage. As you can see, 4 of them quite near, drawing ready with weapons in hand. As the team's relaxing, maybe just starting to take out a meal, starting to maybe get that first drink on the go. And you are already pinned down by a number of orcs, weapons drawn, glares of daggers in their eyes. As things are going a little south already for the team. You can feel free to roll for initiative, though. Thankfully, due to Deacon taking a moment to actually keep eyes peeled and looking around for everybody, no one got the jump on you. And I'll get the enemies rolled in as well, as things are quickly going south for the team.
I wonder if this an angry dad.
Be enough time for Deacon to basically yell to the rest. I keep saying Deacon, but I keep meaning pointing at Devaxian. Supposed to both start with the letter D on this one. Got me some slack on that, you know?
Should I change my character's name? It's entirely possible to make things easier for you.
No. I'll catch it. It's just once in the blue I blink. You know what I mean? It's where the mouse hovers too. But I'll be fine.
I just think it's funny because, like, every time we've had double first letter, we all make the mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, to err is human after all. Well,
Yeah.
let's get this up and rolling. As you've all got yourselves a bit of a fight here in the woods, it would seem. Orcs suddenly charging out at the party. As we've got the biggest and the baddest amongst them yelling out loud. As what looks like one definitely primed for battle. Charges at Nestri, weapons drawn, and a mighty roar echoing through the night sky. And of course, you're going to have to deal with that great club that suddenly comes swinging. And with an armor class of 19, however, you manage to avoid the first shot that comes from the beast. And it follows up with a second, this orc definitely looking like they know how to hold a weapon, however, connecting with that second shot, as your character hears a ringing in their ears for 9 points of damage. It's Devaxian's turn is up next.
Okay, how far away are we from the rest of the caravan?
About 150 feet off screen.
Okay.
As your character sends a glance that way out of curiosity, roll me a perception check.
Oh, jeez, yep.
You look back, you give a nod, you're like, okay, yeah, they're about 150 feet out.
Devaxian will shout, "We're under attack! We're under attack, Oaks!" Just to raise the general alarm, and then this is the only dodgy Malacca in range, so I'm gonna ride up 25 feet, and I'm going to start with a exploit vulnerability. Don't think they have any weaknesses, but just to see if I can get that personal antithesis going.
You go ahead and give that one a roll. Well, with a 25, you've got a critical success on that one. I mean, you are right. They don't really have any resistances or weaknesses that stand out, but you've got a critical success on that knowledge check.
I guess. As I run up, I dip my hand into my esoteric lore bag and pull out, I don't know, particularly chicken.
He's afraid of chickens.
Yeah, I rub some chicken fat onto my fist. I don't think I would have had a weapon out, so I'm just gonna punch him.
He looks horrified at the concept. Mutters something about chicken grease as you connect with your shot.
Sorry, I don't know why I said that, but
so that's another. Just let me double check. Three points of damage for the personal antithesis. So 12 total. It's not bad for a punch.
A good chunk of damage, definitely leaving that orc very injured and glaring now as their attention seems to be drawn to the vaccine instead.
guys, you might have fucked up.
Naz, your turn.
He just attacked next, right? Oi!
It's then that you'd hear a whistling through the air as a javelin flies at your character. But fortunately, your armor class is high enough that you manage to dodge that one. But not the second one. That's going to be a connector. For a whopping 4 points of damage. Oh goodness. It's like bumps your shoulder or something, sends you off balance a little bit. I'm not even sure. A blunted javelin, even the orc looks disappointed.
Was that just a stick?
Oh goodness.
I just love the fact that, like, you slapped him with a chicken and did a lot more damage than him stabbing you with a spear.
To be fair, that was a very weird chicken.
Alrighty, as we roll over to Deacon's turn up next. You've got an orc directly ahead of you, but it's also on a bluff 15 foot up at this point. They have the high ground, as one would say.
And, would it be difficult to climb that, or do I know how many actions that it would take to climb?
Oh, that's a sheer wall. At that point, climbing that's going to be a pain in the ass.
Fair enough.
I'm sweating right now, trying not to do the Star Wars quote, sweating.
Oh goodness. It's also a bit of a nasty speed to move on a climb. I should actually touch on that one for a second, because when you're trying to move across an incline, you're going to have to do an athletics check on that one. And environmental circumstances, nature of the incline, and all that pretty much determines the DC. And you also become flat-footed unless you have a climb speed. If you get a critical success, you'll move 5 feet plus 5 feet per 20 feet of your land speed. Usually about 10 foot for most people. Success will only let you go 5 foot. So you know, if you critically fail, it doesn't end very well. So the amount of distance you can actually cover while climbing is considerably more restrictive in Pathfinder. You're going to find that if you're trying to go. That's even using a ladder or something like that. Because for untrained, you can use ladder, steep slope, low branch tree, stuff like that. But you have to be trained for rigging rope and a typical tree to climb. They do make it a bit trickier in this one. So yeah, big pain in your ass if your character actually wants to try and climb their way up there. But really what's going to kick you is your speed.
Alright, fair enough. I think for the moment I will help out with the big orc.
Alrighty.
So 1 action to move, and then I'm gonna give him a big old strikey strike.
Feel free to make a swing. Oh, nat 20. Very nice. You go ahead and roll up the crit damage on that one. For 8 points of damage on the crit. Leaves the orc still standing, holding strong at that point, looking very angry.
Alrighty, then I think I'm going to use my last action to raise my shield, putting my AC up to 21.
Alright. So as your turn comes to an end then, we've got another orc who's readying in for combat. This one is going to charge in, not using the safe ground, high ground method. Nope, they charge in against you. And that's just going to be one.
Someone needs to take him to Obi-Wan School of Combat.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
You underestimate my power.
Dude's Obi-Wan impression is one of my favorites. That and his Boromir impression.
As Deacon finds themselves slightly flanked, the orc charges in quickly, ducks low under your defenses, and brings their short sword straight up across your character's back, injuring you badly for 16 points of damage from one hell of a hit. Thankfully, though, you managed to deflect the second swing that they'd make. Before we roll over to Ulog's turn next. So, John, you are up, as it looks like your allies are suddenly taking some severe damage from this orc little scouting party.
Alright, so first things first, I would like to use a special action that I have somewhere. It lets me... what's it called? Lets me get my focal point back instantly as a free action. Desperate Prayer, here we are. So I'm going to use that. And then with my first action, I then going to use Lay on Hands to heal Phoenix. And then move my action to here. And then we target the baddie. And with my final action, we swing my sword, my mighty sword.
And an 18, unfortunately... Oh no, that's a hit. I thought it wasn't doing the other add-on. Yep, that's a hit. You go ahead and roll your damage. As you hit for a whopping total of 9 points of damage against the orc, who's still standing despite being encircled now by the group of you.
And that's my turn.
And as your turn comes to an end, Phoenix is up next. Oh, you haven't removed that bleed damage yet from your character. Let's get those off there from the other week. So, Dan, you are up.
I'll move over to here. I'm gonna throw a rock.
You rock it.
You toss
Against
a rock.
the orc brute up on the ledge.
Oh, you're tossing at the one on the ledge? Alright, you go ahead and make that swing.
Hang on, no.
Oh, it's a 30-foot range for it.
Yeah.
Did you want to stay back in the other square so you can hit them?
I just throw it at the one behind Deacon.
Alright. Uh, 15 unfortunately is a miss, as the boulder flies past the orc's face. And that's gonna be it for Dan's turn as he passes to Nestri up next. For Jillian, your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna hit him with my bow staff, like just bludgeon him with it. Or try to, I should say. I sound too cocky. I don't know if
15
that hit.
unfortunately is a miss as they manage to deflect your bow stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna try to do it again, cause why not? Try it. Roll. Which one? It's not really clear which one's the melee one and which is the ranged.
Yeah, I make the assumption it's melee if you're in melee.
Yeah, well, I figured me saying it would be enough, but
Oh yeah, it says it's popping up ranged in the chat, but I know what you were going for with it. The stats are still the same for either.
there are two different things for me to roll, but neither, like, from what I can see, it doesn't indicate. Oh wait, it does. There's a little sword. Okay, now I know what to look for.
Fair. All right. Well,
It
unfortunately,
misses anyway, so I don't really have anything to do. I could try moving away, but there's a possibility he has attack of opportunity, right? We know because we fought orcs in the past. Do we know if it has to do with the creature type or more with like the actual?
Did
like,
we fight orcs?
Thought we had, but maybe I'm just getting it mixed up with the fact that
We never actually fought them.
right.
But to answer your question, it depends. It's not creature type. It's like, well, orcs a creature type, but it depends what kind of. Like there could be orcs with attacks of opportunity and some orcs without it.
Right.
Like it just depends on, like, I guess the monster level of the orc. I'm not sure what orcs do and which don't have. Oh, fun fact! Attack of opportunity in the Pathfinder remaster being renamed to Reactive Strike.
that's a good way to get away from the SRD.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for
kinda
it
makes
anyway
sense.
because I'm not in a good spot.
Well, as you do move, you indeed trigger an attack of opportunity against or from the orc war chief, who is quick to spin in a roaring growl at your character. But
I
you
will
just... Oh, sorry?
Oh, never mind.
I was gonna say, it just misses. Swings a little broad. Your character manages to dodge.
It's his prime to give a resistance. I was like, oh.
Like, I'm gonna give resistance to the damage. Nope, didn't even hit. So Nestri successfully moves away, as it does appear that the orc is capable of making attack of opportunities.
You're welcome for doing that research for you guys. That's my pleasure.
We appreciate you.
As Nestri's turn comes to an end, The orc warrior in the trees. Oh, actually, 1 second here. You are very lucky. Comes up about 5 feet short on a regular move, so it's gonna have to burn a little extra action to get in close range against you.
I didn't see that one. That was silly of me.
But you placed yourself in an optimal spot anyways.
Thankfully, you also didn't see that I rolled a 1, so you know. That's it for that orc's turn as we roll back over to the big bad brute in the middle, who's going to scream out with a ferocious cry. Which does take a full action, and that battle cry seems to rally the remaining troops. And he's then going to quickly turn and swing the club at Devaxian. And against an armor class of 18, that is a hit, as your character takes 14 points of damage total.
Oh, I will give myself resistance.
Oh wait, he hit someone. I should have did this last time too. Let's give you an additional plus 4, and then I get to attack him too.
Yep, and you can go ahead and roll a strike against them. And
So that's a miss.
14 is most assuredly a miss, as it takes a second swing with that mighty great club that it wields. This one burning through the air as he uppercuts Ulag with it. Indeed, a dead hit with that shot. As your character takes 8 points total of damage.
I'm gonna say it would be 20.
I just saw you pop the lay on hands into the chat.
Yeah, I don't know why that popped up.
Okay, fair.
No idea.
I was gonna say a little low on the reactions to pull that at the moment, hey? But that's gonna be
I
it.
mean, also, like, I didn't think that was a reactive thing. You know, just so we're clear.
Well, I don't know what you were pulling. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I just saw it pop up. I'm like, I don't know if you're doing a reaction, but you just used one. But the Vaxian's turn up next.
Just so we're clear, I don't know what I'm doing either. It's fine.
Fair.
Yeah, I just gotta keep on punching. I just keep up the dukes. So let's do. Oh, it's probably not gonna cut it.
Yep, 13's a miss.
Still a chance with the second hit. Nope, worse. So in that case, I'm going to use my last action to try an intimidate. Way, there we go.
Hey. I tease Dean about how British people celebrate, because we go like, you know, Canadians kind of go like, woo, or yeah, or like, you know, stuff like that for some reason. And you hear it, like, we heard it a lot when we were listening to when we were watching Taskmaster, and the audience, when something exciting would happen, it would always be, way! It's just, always makes me laugh. Hey!
Oh, goodness. Always a nice hooray. Well, with a 27, you do manage to get a critical success on there. However, let me just double check. Alright, I just had to make sure on the extras, because there's no other things to increase. But that would get it 2 points of fear. As it's up to Frightened 2 now.
Wish I remembered what Frightened 2 did. But
Oh, you take a status
know.
penalty equal to the value to all their checks and DCs. And at the end of each of their turns, unless it specifies otherwise, it reduces by 1. So after 2 turns, they'll be back to normal, if they make it that long.
Alright, okay, that's not too bad. -2, that's pretty good. Well, I'm disappointed it didn't hit, but at least I did something.
As up next, we've got the Brood up on the wall. And they're going to continue to do exactly what they did last run. They're going to start hucking javelins. I mean, they're no good with dice rolls, so these are missing Devaxian as they try, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. The Deacon's turn is up next.
Alright, Deacon feeling pretty hurt, but this orc has gotta go down. So he's gonna try some lucky strikes on him. Hopefully I can hit him.
Alrighty. Feel free to go ahead, make a swing. And 19 is a hit, so you go ahead and roll damage on that. And as you hit for 10 points of damage, critically injuring the orc, it looks like they should die, but as if their primal rage and strength is something beyond, they don't drop. They remain on their feet and roar defiantly in your character's face, though now they are looking wounded.
What was this called in this thing? This orcish ferocity or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ferocity.
I remember seeing that on like I've made some half orcs in the system. Can't remember what it does. I just know the name of the feat.
You avoid being knocked down and remain at 1 hit point, and your wounding condition increases by 1. I have it as mine. I didn't go Google searching.
Alright, yeah, that makes sense because you're an orc, yeah.
just so we're clear, I'm not cheating. It's just an ability I have.
I'm so used to party members being half orcs. I was like, oh, they must have a version of it, but no, you're just full on.
Yeah, pretty sure a 6 doesn't hit, so
Nope.
I think for my last thing, I'm just going to raise my shields.
Alright, so you bring up your shield to defend yourself. As we roll over next to the orc warrior who's got you pinned from above, as they are going to continue to try and strike you with their short sword, attempting to take you down. And the first swing is a little broad, so that one does miss, too wide. Same for the second, and they're going to try their luck on a third. You never know, they could roll a 20. No, relatively close, but no, not enough for them. As Ulog's turn comes up next.
Thank God.
And with a 19, that's a hit. So you go ahead and roll your damage on that. As you strike with your smoking sword. Which is enough to finish the creature off as it falls over and dies.
Action 2. Action 3.
Oh,
And a 6 is most assuredly a miss against that warrior.
it wasn't a 1, but still a critical miss.
Yup.
Yeah. Hey guys, that means he has at least 17 AC.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm doing you guys a favor.
This is a fact-finding mission.
Yeah.
We're just all sharing, learning and sharing.
Alright.
That'll be my turn though.
As your character's turn comes to an end, Phoenix is up next.
on Nestry.
All right, Nestry gets a +1 bonus to AC and savings throws against the enemies. All the good stuff, so you know. Unfortunately, I don't really have the same sort of right clicks that I can just toss on with this one.
Yeah, and that's it for me.
All right, and as your turn comes to an end, Nestry is up next.
I should just say thanks. And I can step 5 feet away without invoking an opportunity attack, right?
Yep, takes your
Yep.
full action to do that
Steps,
5-foot steps. One of your full actions.
Oh,
mind
it.
you. So you left with
Right,
2
so I still
after.
have 2. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna spell strike the friend on the edge there. Or I'm gonna try to.
All right,
Trying being the operative word.
the one up to the far northwest.
Yeah.
All right, you go ahead and make that shot. And a 21, definitely a hit. You go ahead and roll up your damage on that.
Fantastic. It's an 80-foot range. I didn't measure, but I figured that would be fine.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely within 80 feet. Okay, perfect. So I think the spell I'm gonna put into it is... Why not Acid Splash? I feel like I haven't done acid damage for a while. 1 second, I haven't spell struck in a long time.
Oh.
Okay. I think it's just a D4 of acid.
All right.
Ooh.
For 5
Saw the
total
4 and I thought I rolled a 4 on the D4. Got really excited there for a second.
I affected the wrong stat. 5 points of damage total as you get them with a distance shot, leaving them looking injured but still standing.
Yeah, that's the end of my turn. That's all I can do.
Alrighty, and as your turn comes to an end, up next we've got that same orc warrior who you stepped away from, and they're going to use partial action to take a 5-foot step in, and then they're going to start swinging at you. 2 quick slashes with their short sword.
Okay.
And you have a +1 to your AC, which brings it up to a 20.
Mhm.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button for that damage roll. You definitely don't want to tank that much. So the first swing breaks through your character's defenses. And then you're hit for 10 points of damage total from that shot.
I'm unconscious.
But you're now down to 0, which means you're going to have some issues now. This also means the enemies still have actions left. Technically a full second attack. But I'm just going to have to add on a quick note here for your character. Let's see. Dying. There we go. Makes your map vision look really interesting. Gives you a whole bunch of nasty features, as you can see they get layered on there, but you're now dying. And when you are dying, your initiative immediately moves before the creature that caused that to happen to you, which it's already in, so that makes my life easier. As for this creature, where it still has an action left, it's going to move closer to those of you who are still on your feet. It's going to pin in against the Vaxian. And that's going to be it for their turn, as the Vaxian's turn is up next.
Okay. Right. Gonna... what'd you call it? Exploit vulnerability on this orc. Just to give it the effects I need. Then I'm just gonna start punching it.
With the chicken.
It's with my checking grease of doom. Miss.
Yep, unfortunately 14 is a miss. They managed to dodge deftly. 21 though, that's it. You go ahead and roll up on that one.
Plus another 3 damage for the personal antithesis for checking grease damage for 12 total.
Oh, now hold on.
This
The
cat-
chicken grease damage for the personal antithesis. Wouldn't that apply to just the one guy?
Well, I did another esoteric. I did exploit vulnerability.
Oh yeah, there it is right there, the 25. I missed that.
Yep.
So 9 points on them plus your chicken grease. So that makes it what's the damage for the chicken grease again?
It's an additional 3 damage.
All right. Which leaves
I'm sorry,
the enemy
this is ridiculous. I love it.
quite badly injured. Still standing though.
And then that was my third action, so it's over to the orky poo.
All right. And as the orc's turn rolls up next, they're going to continue doing what they do worst, and they're going to continue to sling, trying to get a shot in, it would seem, against Deacon. When with an armor class of 18, you hold up against the first and the second, as both javelins fly a little too far, missing your character entirely.
Sorry.
The vaccine.
I mean, you may-
Deacon's turn. Up next.
Okay.
Alrighty, so right now I'm not flanking that orc, correct? So if I were to move to the side of him, I would be able to be flanking him.
Oh, for opposite sides? Yeah, you can get that.
Yeah. Alright, I think I'm going to do that so I can help myself and Ulag.
Yep. Solid play, solid play. I do approve.
And a 29, definitely a hit. You go ahead and roll up your damages on that.
It's just regular damage, no crit.
On a 29, yeah, that's actually a crit hit. You go ahead and roll up for crit.
Good checking.
And that's 8
Oh,
points
man.
of damage.
Alright, and I'm definitely going to attack him again.
And a 22, also a hit. And go ahead and roll up the damage on that as well.
I think you've rolled like a 1 or something in both your crits
I didn't want to say
for the damage. That's rough.
Yeah, it's not the best.
As you tag for that second hit, this leaves the orc badly injured but still standing. And was there anything else for Deacon's turn? Because I think that pretty much uses up for your actions and movements.
Yep, move, attack. So yeah, that's everything.
Alright, so up next, we have the orc standing between the two of you, who's going to make quick swings with their short sword. A stab lunging out, 2 of them. And the first one against an armor class of 19 for Ulag.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's 2 hits, and the third one, let's see if they can get lucky. Nope. So, the first blade strikes into your character as you take a whopping 8 points of damage from the shot.
You just moved my health down, right?
Yep, I just click the button and just
Perfect,
pushes
thank
it
you.
through.
Yeah, I
Then,
appreciate it.
with the second shot, you take a further 7 points of damage as the blade cuts hard and fast. But that's going to be it for their turn. You're up next.
One good strike deserves another. That being said, as an action, I'm going to run my hand over my sword causing the smoke to ignite in flames.
And a 16 on the swing. That one is a hit. Which hits for a total of 17 points of damage. And as you strike, they are looking critically injured, but not yet dead, still standing on their feet. As you swing a second time for a 21, that is a hit.
And does that kill them, or?
I'm just double checking on one thing here.
Yeah.
Yep, alright, just wanted to double check on features. So that is a kill for the enemy as you finish them off with your sword.
Perfect. And then I have much movement? 25. So third action will be moved. I'm not actually sitting in the fire, right?
No, it's just there for the look.
Okay. That's what I assume, but you know, figured to double check. So my character would not just go, "Ooh, let's run in the fire."
Yep. Anything else for your character's turn?
Nope, that's 3 actions.
Alright, as your turn comes to an end, Phoenix is up next. As 2 of the orcs still remain on the field, attempting to make your life little worth, and Nestri lies dying on the ground.
The one up on the hill,
Yep.
I'm going to take all 3 actions.
Alright, so you shoot off darts of force using magic missile. And as the first one hits, that's going to be 5 points of damage to the enemy, leaving them looking critically injured, but they're still standing on the edge of that cliff.
Damn, Dan.
And another 5 points of damage to the enemy is enough to finish them off from the second magic missile fired.
Then I'll send the other magic missile after the last orc.
Let me see here. Because the only kicker with your magic missile now is you're using it a little bit out of line with how it's meant to be used. You declare targets, then you roll your damage. But feel free to fire that damage at the last guy, because we'll take 4 damage off on them. And that'll leave them looking badly injured, but not yet as of dead. And that's all 3 of your actions to fire all 3 missiles. So I'm assuming that's it for your turn there, Dan.
Yeah.
Alright, Nestri is up next then, as only 1 more orc remains on the field. Though, Nestri is presently
You're going to
dying.
go to the beach? That sounds exciting.
What can I do? It's not. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
So do I like
You-
roll for? I've never been dying before in Pathfinder.
Yep.
I don't remember how it goes.
Since you're dying, you have to attempt a recovery check at the start of your turn
Okay.
each round to determine whether you get better or worse. You also
Okay.
can have it go in bad directions, but
So basically, I just roll a d20. Do I
10
add anything to
plus
it?
your current dying value is what you're rolling against, and it's a flat check.
So I want to
Yeah.
get 11 or higher.
Yep.
No, I thought No, you need to. The flat check is you just roll a d20.
Yep. You just roll a flat check with a flat d20. The DC is equal to 11 or a 10 since you an 11 since you have a dying value of 1 at the moment.
So it looks
Yeah.
like if you open up your character sheet, underneath temporary hit points, you should see like a little d20. You click on that, it should roll the thing.
Oh, I see. Ooh, it's almost a 17.
Yeah, and look, it'll even tell you a failure by 4.
So with that, you have gone up to dying 2, which brings your character considerably closer to the grave.
I assume that's all I can really do for this, right?
There we go. It's being a pain just to get the dying up another step. You'll be in hard trouble if your dying ever goes to a 4. But yep, that's pretty much it then for your turn. As we roll over next to the Orc Warrior, who's going to... Oh, sorry?
Hey, can I use a hero point?
You can burn all of your hero points to stabilize yourself, I believe. Let me just pull up the exact rules on that.
How many hero points do I have?
You start a
You
session
always
with
start.
one.
Yeah.
But when you say all, though, like,
Oh, it's just the rule is you use all of them. So if you've got 1 or 3, it doesn't make a difference.
I
You do
see.
it when your dying condition would increase. So technically, since you failed and you're going up to a 2, you could use it. You would lose the dying condition entirely, and you'd stabilize with 0 hit points. You also don't gain the wounding condition or increase its value from losing the dying condition in this situation. It wouldn't
Okay,
change
so
it
what
if you
I
already
should-
had it, so...
Right, so I should have, before I rolled my recovery check, I should have just said, removing the dying condition using my hero points.
Nope. It's
No,
has to
no,
be
it's
after
when-
you have to actually fail on the check in order to be able to use it.
Okay, so then if I use my hero point, and I'm stable at 0?
Yep.
Did I understand correctly? Okay, perfect.
Exactly,
I'll
so-
do that.
I'm going to pull the dying
Will do.
condition off.
Thank you.
And that just leaves you stable, though your character is still essentially out of the fight at the moment. And as for our Orc Warrior, it's oh so tempting to have them shuffle 5 feet and just stab, but you know, I generally don't do that to characters when they're down. That would just be mean. Instead, they are going to swing at the target directly in front of them as they're going to try and take Ulog down with their short sword. Fortunately, the first shot is a broad miss, so that's going to be a definite way for that one to go. As is the second, and the third... Nope, they miss on all 3 swings, as the vaccine's turn is up next.
I'll step to make them flat-footed. Oh, flat-footed in the remaster is also changing. It's changing from flat-footed to off-guard.
At least they didn't do something rude like say, we're gonna call it left-handed instead. It's like, what? Oh gosh.
Wow.
Well, that's a miss.
Yep. Okay. Second swing. Jeebus
Also a miss.
Christo.
Stop
That's
and
me.
said to yourself that,
Step missed twice. I've been missing quite a lot of attacks this session.
Okay, so I see that it's my turn, so I'm just going to move up to this guy and hopefully take him down.
All right, you charge in. Nat 20, definitely a hit. Did you get another crit for today's? Feel free to roll up
Good
your damage
lord.
on that.
There we go.
hey!
That's a crit.
Yes!
And as you give them a strike, your pick stabbing in deep with the fork and pulling back blood, the orc, however, ferociously stands on its feet against you, glaring you down.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Instantly forgot.
But that's fine, that means it's at 1 health.
Yeah.
It sure does.
And a 22, definitely a hit. You go ahead and roll up damage as you finish that orc off. For 5 points of damage. The ferocious ability is wonderful, but it does take a reaction, so just means you gotta give them an extra hit usually. Unless they can make it back to their turn, but that's a whole different ballgame. With that, you have successfully cut the enemy down. Anything else for your character's turn?
Crying in pain. Just kidding. No, I'm done.
Alrighty. Ulag is up next.
Oh,
Currently I don't see any enemies.
Indeed,
Correct?
you don't see any enemies currently.
So roll a perception, see if I can find out how like everything is going on.
So just doing a blind perception check around yourself, you don't see anything standing out of the ordinary at the moment.
Okay, and like the caravan's fine.
Glancing back towards the caravan with an 18, you're not noticing anything too out of the ordinary, but the caravan does seem to be, at the moment, getting ready to move.
Guys, our caravan's gonna leave without us. I'm gonna head over and see what's going on. So 25.
Just wait, Lennon.
Well, hi. Sorry, one second.
Just wait, Lennon.
Can you undo that? I've got a little. Yes, you got a heating suit on. You look great. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry, so I should have been able to move. I suppose, where is the caravan? Is it like down or?
150 feet off to the right.
Oh, off to the right. Okay. In that case, it would have been so. Oh my god. Sorry, London kind of gave me some trouble. So, alright, so to the right. So, would have been 25. Oh my gosh. So, alright. I'm just gonna undo my turn because. Yeah, sorry about that. So, if I use 3 actions, I can move 25, 50, 75 feet.
Yep, but you've already used an action to perceive.
Oh, is that an action to proceed? Okay, cool. Alright, then I'll move 50 feet. Oh, that's only 45. So there. Alright, that's my turn.
And as your turn comes to an end, Phoenix's turn is up next as you see Ulag moving back towards the caravan, which seems to be moving towards you all.
Oh, it's moving towards us? Okay. So, yeah, that's fine.
So what you thinking, Dan?
Oh, I was just trying to figure out if there was a way I could heal Nestry. But it's not looking like it because a heal check is like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Most things take time unless you got some magic on hand.
I really wish I didn't just pass my turn. I could have tried battle medicine on her.
Oh, she stabilized herself. She's at 0. She saved herself. She meanwhile folding her arms like, yeah, thanks guys.
Okay, that's it for me.
Alrighty. As Phoenix stares off for a moment at the caravans, thinking, what's going on? We roll over to Nestry's turn, who's quite asleep. I don't got much for you, sorry, Jillian.
Oh, that's okay.
You're not used to being the one who drops, because usually you had that super crazy high health character, you know.
I'm enjoying my nap on the ground.
That's fair. Well, up next, we've got Devaxian. And as we roll over to the start of the next initiative roll, you would notice now that the caravan is barreling towards the team at extremely high speed. They are pushing the horses to the limit.
I've been trying to figure out how to do this, but I can't really find a ruling on it. But my action would be to step towards Nestri and basically pick her up. But I can't find
Kind of falls down to a bit of a painful mathematical calculation, which actually shouldn't be so bad for Nestri, because I don't imagine, Jillian, your character is carrying too much gear. You presently are carrying 3 bulk.
Yeah, I don't think I really have anything too heavy on. I spent a lot of my money on my bow staff, so I don't really have a lot of other gear. Just like a backpack.
Let me see here.
My other bow.
Your size is 6 in bulk, plus 3 makes it 9 in bulk. And Devaxian has the capacity to carry 13 before they're maxed out, encumbered at 8, and they're presently at 6. That puts them about 2 points over on bulk on what they can carry for what you've got. I'm scratching my head quickly as I'm looking at the math here.
Yeah. Yes, Nestri's carrying 3 bulk. What did we say Nestri weighed?
Medium creatures, 6 bulk. So you're looking at
6
9 bulk to carry that. Your character has a max
Right.
bulk of 13, and you're presently carrying 6.
Yeah.
He's pretty solid. I think I put her at like 140 or something like that.
Yeah, I guess I'll start picking her up and then look over to Deacon and say, could you help me here? I imagine we'll be able to both carry her.
Now, you have the advantage at this point that you're not presently in a fight with enemies, so you can be a bit more slack on the initiative order. You can take a turn to work together or to do some things, certainly. You're not going to have to worry too much about that. Let me say that, and Deacon's probably got the most wicked carry of all. Let me see here. 16 strength, sitting on a 9 with a 26 for the max bulk, encumbered at 16. Can almost carry her without even being encumbered.
Beavis.
Yup. Makes a difference when your stats are built to go that way, so I mean...
I wonder where the... Because we've both got a 16 strength, I wonder where the calculation comes from.
It must be something in the backstory or features or feats, because...
Yeah.
I'll double check on that, unless you know what it is off the top of your head, but I'm not...
No, I'm curious to find out myself. I'm not complaining, I'm just like...
Oh, I mean Jameson, if he knew what it was for his character.
Alright.
Because I'm guessing it's probably just something in your backstory that gives you a bonus to carrying given the class that, or given the race that you've picked there. Ancestry? There we go.
Yeah.
Well, I got constructed and emotionally unaware. I don't know what it could be. I'm thinking it's something to do with my class.
Yeah.
It must be something in the base construction here, because the system's doing the math on that one. And I'm gonna double check, because I'm curious what's given it to you. I'd assume it's your nature, but I'm not seeing anything, just a quick glance over the character's build, so that's
It's weird, because like, the rule I'm seeing is like, you can carry an amount of bulk equal to 5 plus your strength modifier without penalty, which means that, so that's why the vaccines is 5 plus 3 is 8, then he's encumbered, then you can't hold or carry more bulk than 10 plus your strength modifier,
Yep.
which is 13.
It looks
for
like
me.
Deacons is doubled from what I'm seeing. on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It must be a feature somewhere, or
Yeah.
like a class thing. Yeah.
Because
Wouldn't be surprised.
Because
if it's the ancestry.
my max bolt is 14 and I have a strength of 18. So
Yeah.
so Deacon somewhere has that feat or feature somewhere.
Yeah. Handy. We need it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know there was like the hefty hauler feat, but that wasn't something that I took.
There's no robot in the box, honey.
I mean, that's the other neat thing is you'd still be at your limit. Oh, well, you'd be close to your limit actually with a +3 on 10. Well, that's still an 8 on a +5 with 5 and 3. Interesting. We'll figure it out. We'll take a look through. It's something in somewhere that's given it to you.
Anyways, I will pick her up or help Vaxian pick her up.
We all saw a cool feature on a character and we're like, how do they do that? Let's find it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I'm sure it's something basic. It's like, and you can carry twice as much bulk for the purpose of carry. You know what? It's in there somewhere. We know it is. It's just
maybe
finding
it's like a fighter thing for like wearing armor, but you'd think the Guardian would have that. Oh well. A mystery for another day.
Exactly. We'll figure it out. But the worst part, between two characters anyway, you're definitely able to pick Nestri up. But it does bring
You
us
got a balloon. Yes.
slightly
Oh,
bigger
sorry.
question to the group. As mentioned, the caravan's bolting at you all right now at full speed.
I mean, kinda. Do we get the impression they're going to like barrel right over us, or like we'll need to get out of the way, or do we get the feeling they'll stop and let us pick us up?
They're not. Your character probably has that moment where we all have those dark, intrusive thoughts, and you're just thinking, shoot, if I don't take a 5-foot step to the side, they're gonna run my ass right over, no problem. That sort of speed, I'd be road splattered. Like,
Yeah.
the answer to that one is, well, yes, but actually no. You will get squished if you stand in the middle of their path, definitely. But you don't think they're specifically aiming at you, just rushing forward.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'll, my plan would be to the Deacons help get off to this, just to the side of their incoming path, and then get Nestri on a cart or a caravan or something and figure out what the hell's going on.
At their present velocity, that doesn't look like it's going to be the easiest thing to do. Doable, yes, but not the easiest. You've got about 2 rounds worth of actions, everyone, before they're on top of you. Well, except for John's character, I can say for that one, if your character's just charging straight at them, you'll get to them a turn quicker.
The only thing I think I would be able to do is do some perception checks to try and see if something was chasing the caravan, or maybe look at one of the orc bodies and see if I recognize them, if it's like one of the ones from what's his name's tribe?
Oh, for the sun. The general design might fit something like that. Your character could take a perception check to do one or the other. Squinting through the darkness regardless is going to be very hard, as has already been shown when an 18 didn't show up much more than, oh yeah, the caravan's coming at you. But if you wanted to squint and see past, well, you've got an idea of where your DC's sitting for that check.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a go.
Alright.
No.
With a 15, you're squinting, you're trying to look around the caravan, maybe even yelling towards Ulag. You see what's got them riled up? I don't see nothing. It's so dark. Because you know. So you're going to be prepping yourself to toss. Help get Nestri where she needs to be on this turn, dragging her out of the way. Using Deacon's help. I'm going to put the 3 tokens for you 3 right here. Why do I picture you like carrying her almost like a bag of flour? One's got her by the wrists, one's got her by the ankles, just swinging back and forth. Like, you ready? Oh, God.
That's very valid of them.
I say that, but with the stats, Deacon could just throw her over one shoulder, be like, I'm only slightly encumbered. The vaccine hops on the other shoulder. He's just like, still only slightly encumbered. Let's go. I looked at the bulks. I know what I'm dealing with math-wise. Oh, goodness. Well.
So you're saying that we can use Deacon as a war mine?
Oh, goodness.
If that sudden charge will just be wheeling across the battlefield.
You just look up, be like, I can only move 5 feet a turn at the moment, though. The Dungeon Master has nerfed my movement speed. Something about over-encumbered bulk and difficulty, and all this rule's not in the book. And at least in the other one, they say an unconscious is just thrown. Like, that's straightforward.
Yeah.
So. Well, that's going to be the majority of the vaccine's trick. Deacon is assisting with moving Nestri, but that does still leave you available some different actions and such if you're looking to do a few. We are just hovering, though, on the first round of things. If anyone else has anything they've got planned, or if you're still just charging straight in.
I'm gonna keep charging, see if I can find out what's going on.
Yeah, I guess like the second thing I would do, I haven't failed the first round or whatever to spot what's happening with the caravan, is I'd probably look at one of the orc bodies and see if I recognise the tribe.
They'll roll through on your next time round. Dan, anything for your character as the team is the caravan is drawing very much close? You've got essentially one other turn. Ulag's booked it forward, mind you, so he's going to be catching up to them shortly.
I really can't think of anything.
So your character's going to hop off to the side and wait to see how this all goes over? Alrighty. And as Oh, sorry.
I said, yeah, I'll go with that. Just hop off the side and wait.
So as your character hops off towards the side, and as Ulag is charging themselves forward on our next round, and I'm going to put you in the lineup with the other players. As you'd be looking towards the caravan, as you'd be getting into range, they're not slowing down. If anything, they're speeding up, pushing their horses to the limit, all of them roaring quickly across the floor of this forest. Now your character can attempt to hop on, of course, to the caravan as it's making its way. You can always reach up an arm, try to grab onto a door and go, but they're also moving at max pace. Waves or yells towards them just gets them waving a hand telling you to get out of the way, essentially. They are booking it. But you're more than welcome to try an athletics check to grab on if you're going to try and grab on to hold on.
I am going to try and jump on. So, athletics?
Yep. I mean, acrobatics could also be arguably used if somebody wants to ninja their way with a backflip, but with an athletics check. Sorry?
I was going to say Indiana Jones it, John.
With a 19, your character manages to catch on to the moving caravan, pulling up and going along with it at this point.
Is it the same people that we're used to?
That's your caravan. There's nobody else in
Okay.
the woods beside you.
Well, I mean, we just got attacked by orcs.
Yep.
So-
But I don't think you'd willingly jump onto an orc's caravan. They might also be attacking you more directly if you came running at them like that.
Yeah.
You're like,
Okay.
sir, he's coming right for us. Fire the arrows.
What is-
All right.
I get up and I go, what is going on?
And one of the people who are managing this caravan are just going to look towards you as they yell that we're under attack. Brace yourself. Grab onto something. As they are coming under fire from behind and are now trying to make their way out as quick as they can. Which brings us to the rest of the team, because of course that caravan's catching up fast now, moving very quickly. Sure, I did say acrobatic or athletics to get yourselves onto the caravan, but this does bring a broader question that I'm going to sort of approach. How the hell are you going to get Nestri on there? Because they have zero intent presently to slow down. That's
Where
for-
I'm already on it, can I assist them, like, getting her up here?
Nope. You're standing on one of the various different carriages that make up this caravan that makes its way through. In order to get Nestri on there, that's gonna be a whole thing. If you're talking just acrobatics or athletics, there's not much that can be done to assist a person with that base check. They're just grabbing on or going. Unless you got some plans or anything like that that you're thinking up your sleeve. But just general assistance. I mean, if you've got a plan,
I mean-
let me hear it.
Like,
Essentially.
can they toss her and, like, me catch her and pull her on?
It could go poorly. But there's
It
nothing
could.
stopping them from trying.
Yes.
Then what about them? Because they also have to get on as well. This creates a whole...
Well, I would have been on, like, one of the
interesting
first ones, right? Yeah.
Well, the team's going to
Oh.
have to figure this one out. Along with how to get yourselves on there, too, because this thing will move by quickly.
Just tire her off to Deacon and make the jump.
They're on Deacon's back, but fine. God. Well, I'm not going to say Dan's not wrong. Like, we're planning... Can we toss her? I mean, you can, but that thing's moving at full speed, you know. Moving vehicle, toss her on it.
Yeah.
That's the sort of plan. I mean, that could work. You'd have to do some good rolls. Or just tying her to Deacon, or any number of things. But tell you what, because we're at a good spot today. That it's a good spot for us to take a quick little break. So we want to take a quick 15 minutes, give you all some extra time to do a little bit of extra planning. I will say, as Ulog makes his way on there, being able to look back when you heard, we're under attack, you would see in sequence a number of torches suddenly illuminating the darkness behind you, one igniting after the other, as you see a small grouping behind you of horse and carriage and various other implements, and a very large and very angry group of orcs chasing you from behind. So once you get on this caravan, you've got yourselves a bit of a chase to deal with. And if you don't get on the caravan, well, do you really want a small grouping of orcs coming down on top of your characters' heads? Or, if I dare say it, well, I don't think a battalion would be that size. That's a fairly larger group in comparison. But a battalion, that's 300 to 1,000, so not that big. A full battalion of orcs coming at you. Again, not that many. But we'll take a quick 15-minute break here, because this is a good little spot for us to take a pause. And when we get back, you've all got essentially one round before that caravan's going to drift past you, and then you'd have to deal with the next one. Or you can hop on and deal with what may come. So we'll take a quick 10-minute or 15-minute, and I'll see y'all shortly.
See you in 15.
So you've all got about a round of action before you decide how you're going to do this, how you're going to get onto your caravan that's bolting through the woods, which is being chased by a small army of orcs. At this point, I don't have any particular turn order to limit any of you to. You pretty much got a round to yourselves. as that caravan comes up beside. No, they are most assuredly not slowing down. Can you blame them? There's an army in tow behind them.
So, the Nestry issue, did anyone think of anything?
There was talk of just
No.
tossing and seeing if Ulag could catch her.
Yeah, not really thought of anything good. Like Alan said, we could try throwing her to Ulag in hopes that he catches her. Or I don't know, we could try just going and hiding somewhere and trying to catch up with the caravan. Just hide out in the woods somewhere. I don't know if that's feasible.
The only issue with that is if we were going to hide, we'd have to snuff out the spider warding off torches.
Yeah, so it's not great. Yeah. But I mean, if we at least get Nestry on, we can just start sprinting, maybe. But
Because this is just like the first wagon in the train of the caravan train. We can throw her into this one, and then we can jump onto the next one.
potentially, yeah. But yeah, that's all I could come up with. We either try and get her on, or we like try and hide somewhere. But I don't have any. I don't really have any powers I can do, unless I was to. I don't even think I could like convince someone to stop just like shouting, like using a diplomacy check. I don't think they would listen. So, yeah, you're trained in athletics, right?
Got a +7.
So you're probably the best placed to throw her. I'm untrained, so I've only got a +3.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like the best option to me, and I still got a hero point to expend, so if I fail, I could try again.
Yeah, yeah. Dan, any ideas? Sometimes you're the dark horse with a out of the blue solution to all the problems.
Pull Jade out of my bag of Jade holding and let him deal with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is a god in this world, or in some D&D world, maybe.
You kidding? That dude was so fast, he'd just be like, okay, and start jogging and outpace the horses.
Yeah.
Just wave at you, bye, good luck, hope nothing bad happens to you.
Wait, where'd my weapons go?
Oh goodness.
A shadow robbed me. Yep, I reckon we try and get her on a caravan, and then if not, let's go and find a cave somewhere.
Alright. I guess I'll make a roll to throw, I suppose.
Alright, so that would be an athletics check to try to toss Nestry onto the moving caravan as it flies
This is
by.
I love this. I love being unconscious and literally
okay.
like a bag of flour. It's great.
At least on the plus side, you know, if you land on there, they're gonna get you some healing. You'll be back to do some stuff. Oh goodness.
Yeah. That is a roll. That is a roll, Chaz.
Well, Deacon just gives a nod, says, I got this, grabs Nestry by his feet, spins around 3 times, and just tosses her. God, with a 25. I don't even think he has to worry too much. Looks like he's aiming, for goodness sake. Picks her up, just shot puts her Wolverine style, you know.
I feel like I've been shot this. Genuinely feel really gross about this.
You've even got Ulog standing there. Even Joe John took a quick step out for a minute. You've got Ulog standing there. He's got like
he's
one
back.
hand held over, ready to catch. And you just see Nestry flies by, lands perfectly in a chair, out cold. Just perfect
Nice
landing.
throw.
With a 25 on the athletics, Ulog didn't have to do any saves, it would have seemed.
With that 25, am I able to also use the momentum to try and get myself in there, or is that not good enough?
You're going to have to do another one for yourself to catch the next cart going by. You get
Fair
the
enough.
option
Don't blame him
that
for
you've got
trying.
one more shot to grab it, though. Essentially using up one of them to throw Nestry up, which also uses it up as well for Devaxian. As discussed, it's a weight matter here. The two of you together would have been assisting, but I let Deacon roll for the check on this one. But it also uses up one of your 2 attempt slots to get on, which means technically Dan with Phoenix can make 2 athletics checks to catch their way on here. But by all means, for either of you, unless you've got a different plan, grabbing on and jumping on is either athletics or acrobatics, but backflipping onto a moving caravan, well...
Yeah, I'm going to use athletics, and I'm going to give that a shot for myself, I guess.
All right. So you're going to try a second athletics run. I might even change up what happened last time. I was thinking, we're going to throw on 3. 1, 2, and Deacon just steps on with her over one shoulder, pops her in a chair, gives a wave to Ulog, like, I don't even see what the problem was. This is just like being back at home when you had to catch a packed train with a bunch of people. You just extend out a hand grab. Gosh, a 25 and a 24. Those are some nice rolls. Well, that's 3 of you on. As you can see, some of the people immediately rushing over to take a peek on Nestry since she's out cold, which leaves Devaxian and Phoenix.
In case this goes wrong, who took the dashing ring? Was it Ulag?
It was Nestry, I think.
No, it wasn't me. It was whoever could do that charge thing.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
No, I'm pretty sure we gave it to Ulag because Deacon could do the sudden charge so that they could both get in there at the same time.
I did not record it on my thing, so I think I might have been supposed to, but I think I forgot to.
I just realised it probably wouldn't make a difference anyway, because I think you need to invest it. But I can see me missing this and just having to run. Anyway.
Excuse me.
Athletics. Yep. I'll try a reroll.
Use that hero point. You reach up with the left hand. Your character remembers, wait, no, I'm right-handed. You swap hands at the last second, reaching up and grabbing on.
I guess that was technically better, but also not. Looks like I'll be running.
Oh, shoot, I saw that 24 above, and then I thought, I got all confused. Well, that leaves last Dan, as Phoenix's turn is up next. You've got enough time to make 2 athletics attempts to try to jump on, unless you've got a different plan to get on.
No, I don't got nothing, so I'll just try athletics.
All right.
Is there any way Dan could use acrobatics, or is it pure athletics?
By the way he was speaking, acrobatics would be harder. So even with a slightly higher bonus, it's still easier to do athletics.
Did you already burn your hero point?
No.
Alright, well, you got 2 attempts that you can make on athletics. There's enough time to reach up to try to grab a second time. Or
So no,
acrobatics.
I was like sitting there trying to catch mystery for the first one, but the second one, would I be able to like hold my hand out to Phoenix or?
Well, you're standing at the front.
Oh, okay. Fair.
You and those who passed on the first ones are up at the front end. Phoenix, unfortunately, is now reaching for the back area. And Avaxian, well, they seem to have missed their opportunity. Oh, goodness. Well, we've got 2 party members who missed the boat, as it were. The vehicle flying on by and leaving you on your feet as you're charging forward. However, you both now have a rough decision to make. Because there is, indeed, someone there waiting to try to help you, but it's not Ulog. They were at the front. At the back, with hand extending out towards one of you, you see your half-orc friend themselves at the back of the area. One of you would be able to reach out and grab on. The Dungeon Master had put in one emergency grab, it looks like. Didn't expect both players to have to use it.
Who's going to take the hand?
Okay, you said we had 1 round of preparation before they got here. Is it? No.
Let's see. I've got a higher fortitude, so I might be able to run longer than you.
I must say, I love how our group is like, oh no, you take it. You take it. No, you. No, you.
I've also got more HP. Got the same stealth scores, so if it came down to hiding, we're on even footing. Or I don't know, do you have a faster running speed in your other form?
No, it's human and kitsune. It's same form, it's just I look different.
Oh, okay, right. Alright, so you don't turn into a fox. Okay.
No, that's the other. That's the knight. No, lunar kitsune.
Alright, I see.
Anyways,
I've left the team with a hard decision. Who gets to make the attempt?
Is it another athletics check to take the hand?
Yep. Just reach out and grab on and hope.
he can do it. That's fine. But I have a question about myself. Because I have the spellstone that I can turn into a familiar, can I use that, turn into a zero, use the turn fate to give myself advantage on the next roll, then hero paint my last attempt?
The action economy is the only tricky thing on that one. If your character had prepped a bit in advance, I suppose, the action economy gets tricky because that's a lot of steps you just mentioned. If you have the actions for it, sure.
So you're looking to hero point your last roll.
Yeah.
I guess it's up to Alan if he lets you hero point the last roll.
For that 2 that you rolled, yep. And if you want to give it a shot, if you've got the skill. So what's the plan, guys?
I was just waiting on Dan for the hero point reroll. Well, at least I think that's what was happening.
Yeah, I was just looking to see what it took to change my orb to the familiar form.
And a 15 would be enough in order to catch on.
And that was using my hero point.
Yep. So that means your character has no trouble hanging on, replacing the previous one. So the extra hand leaning out is for Devaxian then.
Okay. Well, that worked out well.
And with a 12, you manage to catch the outstretched hand, which pulls you quickly onto the caravan with the others. Slight pat on the shoulder, as they mention something to you about getting better grips on your glove, along with a bit of a laugh, you know.
It was these new hand wraps, the slidey.
And as you are all now safely, and I'm using air quotes, on the caravan making its way quickly through the woods, we enter into a slightly different scenario now. Because indeed, looking back, you can see a very large warband of orcs chasing vehemently after the party. And you might be wondering about those orcs you saw earlier, but it'd be the young half-orc who'd already tell you that, yup, those are his father's troops, and they're coming for blood. The caravan, however, has a simple plan. Run the horses as fast and hard as they can. As you can see, they're moving this caravan quickly through the night. You're not far from the next town, and they know if they can get within its borders, well, it would only be foolish to keep attacking you at that point. The defenses of the town, at the very least, might provide some security from the orcs. At least he hopes. You never know, though. They can be a bit crazy on their side of things. Which leads us to our fun situation the team finds themselves in now, as the carriage is rattling beneath you. You are going to be entering a chase scene. And let me just double check before we jump in. And during this time, because at this point the initiative order isn't nearly as important as it was, I'm actually going to remove it, as you are on these caravans gunning it through the woods as fast as they can go. Nestri is healed for a whopping 2 points of damage as they attend to your wounds, bandage a few spots, and give you a couple points of health. Unfortunately, I rolled drastically low. For the remaining party members where no one else is critically injured, they don't really have any help to offer you. But Nestri would be coming to on the back of this caravan.
Do I see? I don't know exactly where everybody else ended up on the caravan. Are they like, am I on the same cart as everybody else, or am I on a different cart and the guys are on like one further down? Or
You, Ulag, and Deacon would be on one cart, and Devaxian and Phoenix would be taking up at the very rear. On the well, Phoenix would be on the middle carts. Devaxian would be at the very rear because Phoenix passed that second check.
okay. So the first thing I would do when I wake up is make sure that everyone's all right, and then try to figure out what's going on, and maybe throw up a little bit.
The poor person who helped bandage up your wounds has a bag that they're holding as you puke into it, and they just mutter something. I hate my job.
Too bad we don't have Fireball. Fireball the fleet cart. Make them all question their things. Would be great.
Oh, could you imagine if you had Fireball? They'd have Fireball.
I mean, yeah, but that's not the point.
You chuck a Fireball, you're like, haha, they throw one back and the whole caravan starts crying, and it's all sad, and it's not a good time. But no, what you've got here is a chase scene. Gunning as fast as they can, tearing these horses through the woods, leaves the enemies about 400, 500 feet behind you at any given second, mind you. Hot on your heels and coming fast. A chase scene, though, in Pathfinder plays out a little bit differently than it would in 5th edition for any of you that have done chase sequences with me before in 5th. In 5th, where it's basically almost like a Colosseum gladiator match between you and the other chasing party. In this one, well, the situation's different. You've got to get to point B, and you're presently at point A, being chased by party C. So don't make any dumbass decisions, D, as I throw environmental encounters E at your faces, F. I could keep going, but G, I'm getting tired. So, you've got...
H in the chat.
What was that? H?
H in the chat. Not quite an F in the chat, but it's the purpose it was felt. That gets a hat tip. So I'm gonna give
I was gonna say H for help us get through this.
Oh goodness. I'm gonna give a hero point to you all for doing well so far, and usually you're supposed to at least get one during one of these sessions, so you know. You've all got a hero point, but you've also got to deal with now is the fact that you're on this caravan. A couple of you, as mentioned, at the front, as you see I'm now moving your tokens on this map for comparison. One of you in the middle of said caravan, and one taking up the rear. And the wonderful thing about this is generally, you end up getting an obstacle that you have to deal with. We're not really on a time clock, though, like we normally would be. We set aside the initiative order. I mean, you can use it as part of a chase, but it's not necessarily detrimental or beneficial. Instead, you've all got the freedom of character agency to make your decisions as you find yourselves tearing through the woods at high speed, because in front of you, the first issue that you're going to have to deal with is there is an exceedingly large thicket of trees before you blocking the path. And the person driving the cart is even going to look back towards the team, the three of you at the front, and say, you got any ideas? I'm going to have to stop the caravan otherwise. And as a team, you'd all notice this. Phoenix would be seeing this as they're peering around, and Devaxian would be getting warnings from the half-orc who's with you, just saying, they're saying from the front cart, I'm seeing signals that we've got a blockage coming up of trees. You got any ideas? Now, the team's close enough clustered together in these caravans that if I do say that there's an issue, there's a problem, there's something you have to deal with, that you can all, in fact, act on it. Your ability to work together as a team, though, that might be a little more strained while you're not in the same cart as other players. Moving between these carriages at full speed, though, again, more problems, more issues. So with the thicket of trees in front of you, blocking the path, what's the team's plan?
Did you say it was like a thicket of trees?
Trees,
Or is
blocking
it
a
like-
path. You can tell that it's only a small grouping of them, and if you can get beyond them, the path once again opens up in these woods. But the path is narrowed, bunching in and at the end, and now there's a number of trees in the way.
How big are these trees? Like, if I were to take out my bastard sword, get up to the front and try and, or get up near where the driver is and kind of cuts these out of the way, would it be like out of the realm of possibility, like difficult, or?
You solo at the very front trying to be a weed whacker at high speeds, completely out of the realm of possibility. A couple of you doing it, well, that might be doable.
I mean, I can do it.
Would they? They probably wouldn't burn in time either. Like they couldn't
No.
be.
It would also cause you to slow down. As smooth and as fast as you can swing your weapons, a sword isn't meant for cutting down a tree.
Yeah.
War axes as well
but-
aren't keenly honed for such actions.
I got nothing, guys.
Is it possible? Is there an? Could one of us look for like another path to take? Like, is there less?
Obvious path
Possibly.
that really could get us out.
Definitely could attempt checks on knowledge, nature, those sort of good things if you're looking to get around. But keep in mind you're slightly limited in what you can choose to do, how you choose to help. Because these should be viewed not so much as a challenge of, okay, we must defeat the thing, I can do one thing and we're done, but a grouping of your abilities. You're probably going to have to work as a team to gain a number of successes to get past an obstacle. So if you're stacking options or stacking ideas, you can certainly do that. Searching for another way around the path certainly would be viable as well, of course. The knowledge check for that, a little more tricker, because you're probably going to be looking at a nature check on that one. Or survival.
Right.
Now, if you're going to do that check, though,
Um.
let me know, because I'm going to force you to do it blind, just in case more than one person decides to do that check.
I mean, from the vaccine being at the back of the caravan, I think that's the only thing he realistically could do would be to try and, because he's got more lead up time, like try and spot a different path. Or have we met anyone in the caravan who's like more of a woodsman? Is that like, could one of us ask someone for advice? Like,
A short dwarf walks
like
over,
gather knowledge?
holds up a hand and says, "Oh, you've got my axe," with a nod.
Ah,
That's a wood-cutting axe, sure, but I just make the joke to poke
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
glowing tree bane, exactly the man we need. Those trees, bane them.
One swing and one broken arm later. He's just crying, "I'm not a player. This was bound to happen from the start. You've done crippled me for life."
We will fix that, probably.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I thought.
Well, look at it this way, Mr. Dwarf. This is an opportunity to become left-handed.
I want to say, he looks at you, he says, I can use my left hand, and gives you the finger, but no, he'd just look at you, be crying, holding onto his arm like, "Oh, no, yeah, he's too far gone." I wanted to have him to do that, but most of my characters aren't generally rude off the get-go. As I like to say, this isn't Curse of Strahd.
Yeah. I guess.
I'm
Vaccine
trained
could.
in lore skill warfare. So, could I use that skill to come up with a way to slow them down?
For your oncoming enemies? A very large army? And just give me a second here to pull up, You say warfare is the knowledge subtype?
Sorry, my sound seemed to have cut out.
It was just looking to confirm that warfare was the knowledge subtype.
Lore skill
here we go.
warfare.
Because there's a bunch of random ones here.
We've gotten it from something specific.
I mean, the trick here, and the thing is, that gives you study of military history, tactics, and strategy. At the moment, you're fleeing from a military group with a group of civilians for the most part, with a couple of people who have been trained for battle on your side. They don't really have the tools or the hardware, unless you can think of something specifically yourself to try to slow down the other side, to try to buy some time.
Okay.
But you were also talking about going to the front and chopping down trees.
Well, I'm at the front. I said I could do that, but this is also just the one of the few ways I have to contribute.
Yeah, maybe. Deacon and Ulag get ready to try and get some of the trees out of the way. Maybe the vaccine could try and spot a thinner patch to direct the caravan through, and you guys have got level 1 spells, right? It's probably enough in like part the trees at level 1.
I mean, I already cast a spell, so I don't even know if I can. I don't know how many spells I have. It might just be the one. Grasp and hydraulic push.
I mean, you got your cantrips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what I got is the vaccine will look to spot a different path.
Alright, well, that'd be a nature check, or a survival check, if you're trying to spot a different route. Which one did you want to go with?
I'll go with nature, because I'm at least trained in that.
Alrighty.
Come on, man.
Oh, I told you, secret roll, remember? I rolled that for you.
Oh, I didn't.
For that one, your character, as they're
forgot.
traveling, you'd point off towards one side as you're pretty sure you can see a break up ahead in the woods that would allow the team to curve their way around. Pathing through it and making your way through there, however, is going to be a bit tricky to do on the fly. But, assuming the path is good and you didn't just find something bad, because I could have rolled a 1, You would need the assistance of other party members making similar checks to make their way through. Because now you have to path that sudden surge towards the right.
So it would have to be a similar check like survival.
Survival or nature. Possibly perception as well. Any of the remaining team members are more than welcome to give their input as well. But stay forewarned, these checks will be hidden.
Well, I have a +6 to perception, and that could be used as well, correct?
Yep, you can make a perception check if you want to try to spot based off of what you can see, just from what you can see.
I think I'll go with perception, because that's +6, pretty good roll. Give it a shot.
All right. And you provide some guidance as you point in a few directions, saying if we go around that next birch tree instead of that first spruce tree, we should be able to make it. Of course, one of the people driving with you is going to lean over and say, that's a beech tree, not a birch tree, trust me. And you're like, no, that's a birch tree, trust me. As you think now, you've started to devise a way through the woods on this plot to get past. Anyone else going to make any additions or assistance on this one? Alright, well, as you come up to the fork in the road up ahead, as you find that one path off to the side, the caravan turns quick, the cart rattling as it goes, causing bumps and shakes and thumps. But you manage to hold on to the path and make your way around, taking a slightly different route through the woods, as you charge forward at high speed, pushing the horses for what they can muster and trying to keep the enemy behind you. Unfortunately, it's an army, which means they move a bit slower than you do. So you're able to gain some ground as you try to push away from them. But as mentioned, you're trying to get through the woods, and there's a few things that you're going to have to make your way through to get there. Because as you're charging forward, a thicket of trees isn't necessarily going to be the next thing that's going to be catching your character's eyes. Yes, up in the path before you ahead as well, all of the branches on the trees begin to hang very low, striking at the sides of the caravan, pushing at them, slowing down your progress, unless you can figure out a way to deal with them. As the branches of the woods itself close in, tightening the path. So if anyone has any general ideas of what they want to do with that.
Branches could... If people at the front, I mean, I guess would still be slowed. But if they were like cut the branches back as we went forward, it would probably increase the overall speed of the caravan.
Probably wouldn't be too much to have a few people swinging at the branches, chopping them through.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a good slashy.
You definitely need to be positioned at the front, though, to be effective with that.
Yep. Right, what could I do from the back? It's probably not a good idea to set the branches on fire, because that would scare the animal.
I was just thinking that. I particularly want to start a forest fire.
Oh, goodness.
Well, everyone's thinking I think Deacon will kind of position himself to whack away some of the branches with his bastard sword.
So if you want to go ahead and give an attack roll to that one, by all means. You're hot on the 20s today. I think that's like your third or fourth. Very nice. But your character's hacking away, cutting back some of the limbs that are slowing the progress of the caravan. Anyone else got any plans to help out?
I mean, I can also hack at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely make an attack roll to see if you want to chop away a few branches as you're going. And the same with a 19, you slice off pieces of tree yourself. And Deacon at the front, cutting away, chopping back some trees, definitely assisting, but they still have a heavy volume of cluster around you. And we still have as well Nestri and Phoenix, if either of you had a plan. And Devaxian at the back.
So are we like on a road or a track or something, or is it just like kind of wild, just like fresh
Charging in the
forest
general direction you need to go, but it's mostly just fresh forest.
I wonder if there's.
I mean, I could try my focus spell of Shooting Star. It could just provide a little bit extra light. I don't know what my target would be. Let loose a projectile that flies true and leaves a blazing trail of meteor behind it. Make a ranged strike, ignoring the target's concealment, which is kind of like, I'm wondering if it would be helpful because the path is concealed right now. But I don't know, in this particular context, it's talking about a creature. You can reduce the meteor trail hangs in the air. Is a benefit of concealment, negation, and cover reduction. It's only good for 1 round. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's literally all I've got. I don't know what else to do.
Could it be used to, like, blind the orcs coming directly at us? Like, pointing it directly in their faces?
I mean, it's not designed, because I know there are things that could cause blindness in enemies, and I don't have anything like that. It's meant to basically negate cover.
Okay, just wanted to see if there's any option for it.
I like the way you're thinking, but I feel like because I've been playing with Alan for so long, I think he would just say, doesn't say anything about the blinding condition, then no.
More like Rudolph, less like Solar Flare, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant, like, kind of using it in the context of Rudolph.
Yep.
That's honestly all I've got. I have no idea what else to do.
Hey.
I mean, if it's in the context of Rudolph and it's a brighter light than our torches, maybe it could send them off course a little bit.
I mean, I meant targeting it in the direction that I'm going, like that we're going, so that it can help illuminate a clear path for 1 round. That's kind of the context I was thinking of it, like not shooting it toward them, but shooting it ahead of us.
Alright.
I know. I'm trying to think of what else I could do from the back that isn't just like being like a lookout and spotting a different path. This is very similar to what I did last round, but is there like maybe Devaxian try and help direct their branch cutting efforts? Like, see if there's like if they focused on one side of the branches, like maybe there's some branches that are pulling the rest down, and if I like cut through like an anchor branch, it'll like cause them to splay out or something like that. That's the only thing I think I would be able to
That sounds like
maybe input.
a nature check for sure. If somebody wanted to provide some guidance on where to swing.
The other thing I have to contribute is I also have telekinetic projectile. I know Dan does as well. So we could, like, if we fired 2 objects, even if it didn't hit them immediately, maybe it could obscure the path a little bit, so it might slow them down. I couldn't do that and shooting star, so I'm fine. I'd prefer to ask the party what you guys think would be more useful.
Like, you're trying to clog up the path that we're leaving.
Yeah, clog the path behind us.
Yeah. I could do that this round, and then next round I could try shooting star.
Mate, could work.
Right. So, an unattended object within range, so that's 30 feet, with 1 bulk. So like a large tree branch, perhaps?
Toss a stick at them.
Could it be anything more significant than a stick?
Now,
Hoping like a branch.
keep in mind,
I don't know how
there
big 1
is
bulk is.
quite the gap between yourself and the enemies. Like, I think I said about 500 feet to start, 300 or 500, because they're coming up on you fast, but it's hard to hide an army. So distance might be something to deal with. So,
The other thing to think about is how far is the caravan we're in spread out.
fairly closely clustered. They all sticking together because there's only a couple of them to begin with.
Well, how do you guys feel about shooting star? Do you think that would be helpful? I don't want to waste it, but
Just light the path ahead for a little bit.
yeah, for 1 round. Just provide a little extra light.
I mean, that might help with the nature check the vaccine
Okay.
will be making. Like, if you can see, like, if it lights up for a second and then maybe when Alan rolls the secret check, the light will be like, oh no, on, I don't know, like 30 centimeters from your head, Deacon chop there or something.
Alan, how do you feel about me using that spell in that context?
What exactly
That-
are you looking to do with it?
Just fire an arrow ahead of a caravan in the direction that we're going to light the path for 1 round.
And
Alright.
we wondered if that would like feed into the nature check that Devaxian will be rolling to
Well,
spot
it's
where to chop.
target for shooting star, thankfully, is a 1 creature or object. So nothing's stopping you from shooting a tree in the distance to do exactly that.
Okay, I'll do it.
The other thing before you use your spell is the light spell. We could just cast light on your arrow and shoot it out.
Sure, I don't think there's a spellcaster with me right now, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have
Reach.
Middle.
Reach spell. I can go 30 feet out with light.
light. And you? Okay. I mean, yeah.
Horses have a general movement speed of 40 feet, and when they gallop, they get an extra 10. So you're looking 130 feet per round for what these horses travel. Give or take. I think
What's
shooting
the farthest
star
distance you...
has like 480 feet for its longest shot. At your present level, at a 400 feet plus 40 foot per level for the effective shooting star.
Well, are you looking at the same one that I am? Because I didn't see any
Am I looking?
distance in mine. Because mine's a conflict spell
Let me just do another research here.
or focus spell. I mean,
In the archives of Nethys.
I don't want you to give me more stuff
it's
than I
just
have.
it's
just my concern.
it's the range of your ranged weapon that you're using to make it. Yeah, I was looking at one that was built for D&D from this spell apparently. Forget what I just said about distance and all that stuff. It's a range strike is what you would make. So
It would be 80 feet. Would be the max. Why don't I just... And that's a good idea. Why don't I use Shooting Star now? We'll see if it helps. And then if it does, then maybe we can try the light thing for the next round. And maybe Nestry would communicate that to you.
Alright.
Right.
All right. So you make a fire with your arrow and see if you can help illuminate the path.
Want me to roll an attack for that?
Yep, just a straight attack with your arrow. As you fire one off, sending it in the woods ahead of the caravan. There's a lot of nat 20s being rolled today. Well, you pull back
So
on
this
that arrow.
this is interesting because I think there's a variation if it's critical. Just 1 second.
If you got some extra crit add-ons, you let me know.
I'm reading right now. Maybe I was looking at something else for that. It doesn't say on Path Builder. I'll check my character sheet in case there's something I'm missing.
Well, regardless, 26 is a brilliant shot. And you send that arrow with perfect precision, landing in the knothole of the tree that you were aiming at perfectly. Your character might even be surprised at their own accuracy for a brief moment there, but you know. Nat 20s come and nat 20s go, so we take that. Oh, they still got you registered as prone. I gotta fix that. From when you were dying,
I
you were
would've stood
flat-footed
up.
and prone.
Yeah, I would have stood up before I shot my arrow.
Oopsie, wrong button. There we go. We'll fix that. So that's actually a 28, because it gave you -2. But still,
Oh, I
Yep.
see, yeah.
definitely helps light things up, which is enough with that shot and the other add-ons from your extra party members who are also swinging to cut the remaining branches out of your way, quickly dashing through these cluster grabs of woods that are attempting to grab at your character, attempting to hold back on the line, but they are not successful in doing so. However, it's the ground next that's going to give the team some trouble as you find yourselves charging forward as the incline begins to grow and grow and grow. The horse is still pulling forward on those caravans, but you're not sure how much weight they've got to lift. And before it bottoms out at the area where it reaches a plateau, to make your life a little simpler, everyone's going to have to give me reflex saves from the sudden lurch as the caravan rights itself at the bottom. Thankfully, your riders seem to be super pros. They don't have any trouble hanging on. The rest of all y'all, though, it ain't looking so good on these dice rolls.
Jesus. Did any of us roll above a 10?
A 14, a 10, an 8, 9, and an 11.
I'm actually going to use my hero point.
All right, you go ahead
I
and
think
use
I
that.
will as well.
By all means.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wait, are we all doing it?
You don't have to.
I don't think any of our dice rolled above a 10.
Oh, goodness.
Some people's totals were above a 10, but
Well, if anyone
I
else...
rolled a 3. I got
There you
another
go.
20.
I went from an 8 to a 19.
So we get a bit of a balance out for things here. So as you're all bouncing down the way, Nestry, Devaxian, and Deacon are able to hold on as things go a little bit chaotic. But Ulag and Phoenix, however, both end up lying prone in their respective areas, strictly because, as the two caravans straighten themselves out, you both found yourselves dropping. I'm gonna say Devaxian, at the very back, would see all these people popping in the air like kids on a school bus during bumpy season. You all know what I'm saying. And your character would just crouch and hold on like, okay. have the advantage of seeing what's coming, but it didn't help you too much. That bump was still a hard one.
Yeah.
And you can see cresting the hill behind you, the group of the orcs starting to make their way as well. And as the rider pulls on the reins, yelling, "Not too far to go now. Not too far to go." Coming up before yourselves, you see one thing blocking your path. The ground itself torn open to a massive crevasse. A large cliff essentially cut into the middle of the road here, split on either sides. And you can see it doesn't look like the most stable, but you'd have to pick left or right. Which path would be the most safe for you to take, where the ground itself has split itself apart, leaving a broad chasm beneath your feet very soon?
When you say it doesn't look the most, is it so just it's like in the middle of the road,
Yep. Splits
like
apart.
lengthways?
Very
And
much so,
okay.
directly in front. The road splits, tearing open a large hole into the ground, but it's more like a crevice because it just goes on. And you'll have to decide on which side of it you want to ride, because there's only enough room for you to squeeze in there. Cliff face on either side and tall hills make it impossible to take a different path. You gotta decide if you want the left side of this thin space or the right side of this thin space to make your way through.
Is there any indications of like potential rock falls or landslides if we look from one path to the other?
Anyone who's going to lean in on a knowledge check or a perception check or one of those, you'll get one chance. Let me preface that before I answer that question. You got enough time to make one of those checks to try to determine which path is safest. You can use nature, you can use perception, and you can use any other ability if you can give me a good reason for why it should work in that scenario, knowledge-wise. Or, you've got a trick up your sleeve, now is a good time to make use of it.
I have a +4 for nature and a +6 to perception.
I've got a +4 to perception. I can make that roll.
I'm going to do. Can I help out with perception, or does like each person like conflict with each other?
The risk you'd run
think-
is I'd roll your perception and nature checks blind. You wouldn't get to see the outcome, so I can hover that a little bit on your knowledge. I mean, last time I did that, I rolled a 19 for Dean, so you know. Maybe I've used up my good luck, you don't know. But for your perception checks and nature checks, any knowledge-based checks, I'm going to be rolling them blind for you. I don't like doing too many blind checks in the run of a game, because I like seeing players roll their own dice.
Yep. Okay.
I also like making you sweat, so you know. However,
Yeah.
I'll waive that if the party's putting it all in one basket and only one person's rolling the check. After all, at that point, you have to go with what they get, right? It's kind of more fun to know. But if multiple people are doing multiple knowledge checks, expect them to go blind, because...
I could... If someone wanted to do nature and someone wanted to do perception, I could do esoteric lore in place of one of those knowledge checks with a -2 circumstance.
Now, this is your ability to look and see from a distance. Do any of you have anything you can use to interact as well to try to determine which path might be the safest? Essentially...
Well,
You-
sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, essentially you may have noticed for these sort of chase situations, you get given a problem in these ones. When you're strictly just running, you get given a problem, and you need a number of successful hits to pass said problem. Number of fails means you fail said problem. So, if you're stacking your hits, if anyone's got any ideas, It's a wonderful
Wait.
opportunity to just be creative as hell. I think, Jameson, you were about to say something, but I cut you off.
Oh yeah, I was thinking like, so I'm pretty decent in crafting. If I were to using my knowledge of like putting stuff together and whatnot, could I be able to discern which one looks more structurally sound?
Between the two paths in the road? Yep, you could definitely run a check for that. I'm not sure what knowledge checks for you would fit for that off the get-go, given your character, because I don't know your stats. I'm just pulling them up at the moment.
I don't know, I bring up crafting because I have a +6, so I'm decent in that.
I don't think. Let me see here. It's funky because recall knowledge is a weird skill. It's good for lore and information. Let me just give a quick read. Because a good example earlier was about the war-based information for warfare lore, but I wasn't able to do anything with that one for giving information because it's great for info on battles and all that, but when you're just trying to outrun an army, there's not much to add besides thinking up specific things in the situation. And plus, these lore checks are kind of asking the Dungeon Master, hey, how good is your knowledge on this random fact? And the Dungeon Master's going, shit. I'm not Rhodes Scholar. So let me just peek here. It's a bit of a stretch, so you can expect the DC to be adjusted accordingly, but you can try to make an educated guess using your recall knowledge ability for crafting as you look towards the road. I.e., if I had to pick one of these two sites to start doing construction on, which would I use? You could run that if you wanted to give a check for it.
Alright, just wanted to check. And, okay, so that's one possibility. And do we have we decided who's going to be doing, like, nature and perception?
Well, who's all trained in nature? Said I had another idea as well for anyone who isn't rolling a knowledge check. We could go back to Old Faithful and try just like throwing a rock into the path ahead and see if it like causes any violent shaking or trembling. I think the vaccine might be the only one who's trained in nature, so I could roll that, or
Yeah.
Alan could roll that knowledge check.
Like I say, I've only got one person overall going to do the check. I'll leave that one up to the players. If multiple people are rolling for knowledge checks, I'll roll them. Because you might get conflicting info, especially with that 2 lies and a truth sort of a trait the two of you have. Like, there's a lot of little pieces of fun with that.
Yeah. So, so Deacon was going to roll craft and which is a +6, and then I think Ulag, you said you would roll the perception at +4.
I'm also laughing because you were saying about a party member throwing a rock to try to figure out what's going on, and I'm looking at both of the spellcasters like, how would you ever throw a rock at it?
Yeah, well, that's what sprung to mind because they're always throwing rocks.
Yep.
I mean, I could throw a rock because like crafting was just a suggestion. Like I was trying to see if there were any other things I could roll.
Both spellcasters have a spell. Throw a rock.
Yep. I was just making the joke because they both used it a bunch, and I'm like, I wonder how they'll ever throw a rock. It'd be hard for the party. They're just floating up with the cantrips like, we can throw 3.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them, so they could test either side and see which one reacts at least.
Do you want to fight a rock after I've thrown it?
Do I want to fight a rock?
Well, keep in
I
mind,
mean,
it's got a cast time of 2, so they could launch 1 each.
yeah. That's what I meant. One picks the left path, one picks the right.
Yeah, I was leaning into the joke of the key creature, a rock. I throw a rock, then we have to fight it.
That drifted over my head, I'll admit.
I was about to say I could fight a rock. I have a chisel.
God.
You know, throw a rock at it.
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, well, let's go with that. Let's throw rocks and see if we can. One of us gets a good enough knowledge check to say, that way.
Just for the record,
Hope for the best.
a rock's a CR9. I went over to my compendium packs and they've actually sorted all the compendium packs into folders on this update. I'm just flabbergasted. It's like, oh my god, they made it easy. But
I bet a rock in Pathfinder is right nasty.
oh god, yeah, they are. I only peeked originally, but they are.
I mean, they're not exactly all poops and giggles in 5e, but I imagine in Pathfinder they'll just be something like, yeah, it's instant drop death. They just throw you into the ground.
No goodness. Well, unless the team has alternate plans, it looks as though we were going to be having a check from Deacon and a check from Devaxian, and possibly stones to be tossed by Phoenix and Nestri. Anything for Ulog?
I've got perception. That's like all I've got.
All right.
+4 to perception.
Well, let's get the ball rolling then. John, do you want to be our first roll then with your perception check?
Secret or just regular?
You're the only one rolling, so you roll it out loud. As he's pointing left, seems right? Let's go left. And the team's like, what? And the vaccine gets their check now with nature. Because 11 on perception. You've all been rolling like hot fire today for almost everything except that first reflex save. I hope I didn't just jinx you all.
So
You did.
am I rolling in the open?
Yep, you're rolling nature out in the open because no one else is rolling the knowledge checks. So this group
Okay.
has to go with your decision, essentially.
All right,
That's a pretty
21
good
is-
roll.
It's not bad, yeah.
As the vaccine's countering up. Yeah, no, right doesn't seem like it's left. Dang it, left is right. Go right. However, well, 21's a great roll. 11, unfortunately, might not be a pass. Not necessarily a fail because of the way these work, but that does mean Deacon gets a check as well, with crafting on this one. As you're looking, I think left does sound pretty good, actually.
Okay, can I use my last hero point to re-roll that?
Yep. Left seems pretty. Oh, maybe the right. Maybe the right. There's a crack there on the left. I don't know. So, your character's shifting gears, as it seems like the right might be the favorable path. And for our spellcasters, were you following with Dean's plan, firing off rocks into the left and the right side?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I am. I don't know what Nestri's doing.
Yeah, I can. So we're talking about the projectile thing?
yep.
I'll do it as well.
So both of you give me attacks. Nestri will be the left, and Phoenix will be the right.
Okay.
And just so that we're aware, because I'm sitting a little farther back, I will use the extend distance thing so I can go 60 feet out instead of the 30, so we can hit roughly the same distance out.
Oh, nice. Very clever, very clever. All right.
God. Okay.
21's a good shot from Nestri. How about from Phoenix? I'm not too worried about the damage on this one. You're attacking the Earth. If you went too high, you'd crack the damn thing, and you know. The world just
I
be like,
got
do you know how
crackle.
much health? You're like, but I hit it with a Vorpal sword and I got a crit. And I'm like, the world breaks in half.
Oh, no.
Don't drop your sword. It's like my favorite one I saw. Had, what's his name on the Death Star fighting off against Darth Vader. And they're about to go, and he just takes his lightsaber, flips it around, and drops it straight down. Straight through the hole and ground it goes. He goes, and he goes, that's going straight to reactor, and walks away.
Yeah, I saw that.
I laughed so hard. I was like, yes, this is exactly how it would work, but with a 21 and 25 on your shots, indeed, as you shoot the left pass, it begins to crumble out some, and the team is quick to adjust to the right path, which happens to be the right path. So you're all right. My kid's cheering you on in the background. You can hear her. She's like, go, go, go.
They did it.
And indeed, the team books it very, very fast. You leave the orcs in your dust behind you. As the trees close in around them, as you see them falling down, falling into that ravine, collapsing on one side, making it a little bit harder for their troops to actually make it through. But your caravan does eventually begin to slow itself down to a more relaxed pace as the hours roll by in the morning, as the wee hours of night roll through, and as the bitter cold wind snaps at your faces as you finally breach past this less than lovely area. As you put the forest behind you, you see a road on it. At the main entrance, you find yourselves coming through. And glancing outward, indeed, as you were advised by those you were traveling with, you see a town before yourselves, not too far off. As your half-orc companion walks around to the back of the last caravan, pulling out an arrow as they finally stopped, he'd give a nod and then point forward beyond the woods of the town, saying, hey, you think we might be able to get a bite to eat there? Damn. After last night, I could use a drink. I thought if I was blabbing, the map would load, but it's still taking time for that picture to show up, so I'll have it shortly.
I hope so too. I take it that perhaps your relationship with your father might now be somewhat dead. Or strained at the very least.
You give a bit of a grimace to his face before a shrug of his shoulders as he admits, I'm not entirely sure. After all, the man wants what's his, and what's his is to be owned. He may have orders to take me alive, you never know. But if there's one thing my people know, it's warfare. Oh, it's definitely warfare.
Anybody else worried about that town we're about to crash at? Because now I'm scared it's gonna get raided by orcs.
It's a relatively larger town.
Sorry guys. Just where we got through like the little chase sequence, I'm actually gonna dip just because like got Lennon and Chrissy waiting on me.
No worries, bud. Oh, we'll be ending shortly. There's nothing left for today's game. The arrival.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys have a good one. I will catch up next week.
You too, John.
Have a good one, John.
See you next week.
Bye.
That pretty much cuts it for your traveling at this point. Positioned on the hilltop, not too far outside of this safe haven, the Dungeon Master says with air quotes, because there's no such thing. There's one thing I've been taught. I've got a couple pieces of good news for you all, however. Even though it's the middle of the night and your characters are going to be tired, you will find peace when you make it to this town. You will find a place to rest your weary heads. You will get your rest. You'll wake up 8, 9, 7, 6 in the morning, whenever the heck your characters want. And for passing through some rather rough, tough, and tumble challenges, you all also gain a level. Welcome to level 3.
Yay.
Nice.
Feel free to apply that one, as next you will have to deal with the mysterious new town that sits on the border for next week's game. And once you finish there, the Great Wastes are the only thing stopping you from making it to the land of Blackrock. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the recording here.